All right, guys, how's it going? So, Pedro Neto to Chelsea came out this afternoon. Over the last few weeks, I've been talking a lot about Wolves and Liverpool holding talks, communication, kind of restricted as to what I could and couldn't say with that. I know that like casual viewers coming in and be like, oh yeah, you're gonna believe you, not that. Fuck you, believe me or not. But I've been around these parts a long time. Probably when you were on potties or not even born. But the point is, my peoples will know whether to trust me or not. That's why I have a members site with a lot of people that have been on there for decades. Now, over the last few weeks, I've had stacks. No, okay, that's an exaggeration. I've had quite a few emails regarding what might have been going on at Wolves and with Liverpool. Some of the contents of those emails I was prevented from talking about, just to protect people and things like that. If someone says to you, please don't say anything, even if it's really obvious to you who I may be talking about, the player or players I might be talking about, it doesn't matter. If someone says don't mention this particular bit, then I'm not going to. So I'm going to try and skirt around this a little bit as best I can, really. Pedro Neto is a player that Liverpool have been interested in for a long time. We have a KopTalk VIP member that is close to someone who was or is associated to the medical team at Liverpool. Some time ago now, he informed us that Liverpool had taken a look at Pedro Neto with the consent of Wolves. It was to do with like an examination, or they had him looked at, basically. They had something checked. Let me just close this window because the wind's blowing in my face. I'm just getting messages left, right and centre here. Oh, so many things I need to talk to you about. Right, let me try not to get thrown off here. So Liverpool had him looked at with the consent of Wolves. Therefore, Wolves must have been willing at that particular time. I think this is going back a couple of years now. They consented to it. Liverpool had him looked at. Nothing came of it. It wasn't a medical ahead of a transfer like we know the term a medical. We have no reason within the KopTalk VIP members community to doubt this member. I know who he is. I know his capacity in the city. I know what his standing is, or whatever you want to say. There's no way in a million years he would mislead us. People that are not part of that community might not wish to believe it, whatever, but that's up to them and that's up to you. But I believe that Liverpool did have him Neto looked at. I know I might be coming across as a bit condescending, but I'm a bit tired, to be honest with you, and I think the transfer window's getting to me a little bit. So, when Jurgen Klopp left Liverpool, I thought the Pedro Neto stuff would finally stop. It didn't. It continued. And for the last couple of weeks, I was being told that Liverpool were trying to negotiate a deal for Pedro Neto. Just like if someone was telling you something, if I'm telling you something like, Dunk says this, believe me guys, blah, blah, blah. You might listen to something I say and think, Dunk, I really want to believe you, but it doesn't sit right with me. And I don't know, I just find it hard to believe that Liverpool were trying to do something with Pedro Neto because of his injuries. But I'm told that they were. And we discussed this on a stream recently, the Arsenal fan that was saying why he thinks Arsenal should have signed Pedro Neto despite his injuries. And he picked out 3 fringe players at Arsenal and said that Pedro Neto, even with his injuries, would play more than those 3 players put together. He said that at Wolves, he was such an important player at Wolves that he would be rushed back from injuries quicker than he would be at Arsenal or Liverpool because, he's our best player, we need him back kind of thing. So the pressure is on to get him back from injuries quicker than usual, quicker than he would be at a club like Liverpool and Arsenal where there are other players that can step up. So he would have longer to recover from injuries, which might improve his injury record in the future. And also that because he's the star player at Wolves, that when teams come up against Wolves, it's a case of take Pedro Neto out of the game and we'll win the game. Therefore, more tackles, more closing down, more just like more likely to sustain injuries. But if he played for a Liverpool or an Arsenal, there's more star players, so there wouldn't be as much pressure on him. And it kind of did make sense to me that all those arguments. So I was kind of understanding a little bit. Now, I've been asked not to talk about things previously in relation to too much to do with Wolves and Liverpool. I've been told who it's coming from at Wolves, and I do believe it, but I just found it a little bit hard that Liverpool would push hard for Neto. Anyway, so Neto, 3 days ago, was it 3 days ago? When was the 6th? 3 days ago. Right, let me just read this to make sure I've got the right email. Yeah, right, so this was 3 days ago. Keep your hat on it. Basically it says, so keep your hat on it, right? This is just a bit of conversation, a bit of chat for you, so keep your hat on it. But don't be surprised if we, Liverpool, put a bid in for Neto next week. That would have been after this weekend, right? And although it doesn't say it in this email, further information suggested that if Liverpool were going to do anything for Pedro Neto, that it would be likely that we would have heard something about it around Monday or Tuesday next week, right? These are just specific little things, little conversations in the background, right? So don't be surprised if we put a bid in for Neto next week. That you can say. And if you follow me closely, if you follow the members' website, I've been saying keep an eye on Wolves and Liverpool, and maybe we'll hear something next week. Although I didn't really single out Neto. I don't think I did. That you can say. What you can't say is that Liverpool have inquired about. Now, so I can't even say here which player Liverpool have inquired about, but I'm going to give my own opinions a little bit in the video, because it's stuff that I've talked about previously, regardless of this contact. So you'll just have to, just put it all together or whatever. The spanner in the works is a Liverpool player. All right, I know it's all very cryptic, but I have to go by what's being said here. So the spanner in the works is a Liverpool player that Liverpool are trying to include in a deal for Pedro Neto, but Wolves are having none of it. And there is a figure quoted regarding the valuation, what the cash that would be needed, blah blah blah. I can't mention the Liverpool player, but what I can say is that Liverpool were trying to include this Liverpool player in a deal that would set his value at £30 million, right? You by all means speculate in the comments, whatever, right? So this is information that was sent to me on the 6th of August. Let's just get away from that email for a minute and let's talk about Liverpool and Wolves. So there's 3 players at Wolves that Liverpool could sniff around, or could have sniffed around at that point. Gomez, Liverpool, possibly looking at central midfielders that he can play as a defensive midfielder, a very good player. That's more like, that's the kind of player I would like to see Liverpool go for maybe. Nouri, the left back. Now, again, this is information that was provided to me some time ago, and I don't think it's any secret that Liverpool have sat down with the Chesterfield agency this summer, some time ago, to inquire about him. It sounded like he was too expensive, but it doesn't mean the interest ended. And of course, Pedro Neto. So there are 3, these conversations that were told have been going on with Wolves. In my mind, I was like, okay, there's Gomez, there's Nouri, there's Neto. So Pedro Neto is on his way to Chelsea, right? So we can now finally rule that out. So I'm happy about that, right? Now, I've had a follow-up within the last 30 minutes or so that says as follows. I'm just reading it to make sure I can read it. Okay, so Liverpool did try and sign Pedro Neto, but they would not pay any more than £30 million and up to £8 million in add-ons. That's what Liverpool were willing to spend this summer, this week, or next week. But it was rejected. It's not interested. Well, it doesn't say reject. You can't say rejected because maybe Liverpool did not offer that formally. Maybe a bid didn't go in. But in terms of talks, Liverpool would not pay more than £30 million and up to £8 million in add-ons. Chelsea paying over. I do apologise. Chelsea are paying over 50 million, whatever, for him. This says here. It says here, they asked yesterday and put the bid in, so I assume that's Chelsea. Which it sounds all believable to me. And then he says about the person that I know who he's referring to at Wolves, and I won't go into that any further. So, I know I'm struggling with this, but unfortunately this is real. All right, so some YouTube channels or Twitter accounts or whatever might have very scripted, very detailed things about what they're going to tell you, but I'm reading this like in real time right here in front of me. And whether, if you're new to my channel and you don't choose to believe anything I'm saying to you, it's fine. But these videos are made for people, my friends, that do trust me. And I believe that we did sniff around Pedro Neto. I was just finding it hard to believe that Liverpool would pay the kind of money that Chelsea have paid. So I guess I was right, because if Liverpool wouldn't pay more than 30 million and up to 8 million in add-ons, I was right, because I just couldn't believe that Liverpool would pay the sort of money that Wolves were in theory asking for. So where does that leave us now with Wolves, their players, and Liverpool Football Club, and a player that Wolves want, which I have said on the members' website who that player is, and I did say to the members, please don't repeat this outside of this community, and someone did take it from there, and it did appear on social media, and it's happened multiple times on a particular account, but I'm not aware of that person being a member, but there's certainly stuff's coming from the members' side that's going out there. I just think it can be damaging to do that sometimes. So, we know that Liverpool and Wolves have been having talks for weeks. Does that mean those talks have now ceased with Pedro Neto going to Chelsea? Was Pedro Neto the only reason that Liverpool and Wolves were talking? I don't think so. I'm going to go into my opinion now, right? Forget what might be in emails. I'm going to go with my opinion. And I think that Liverpool remain interested in Nate Nouri, the left back. Will they go for him? I don't know. I guess it would depend on other deals that Liverpool do and the money that's put aside for those. So I would say to you, I wouldn't be surprised if you hear any anything being communicated regarding Wolves players and Liverpool, or Liverpool players, or a Liverpool player attracting interest from Wolves. The little bit what I mentioned in previous streams and things, saying look out for Wolves, Liverpool chatter next week, I think that does not apply now, because I think that was relating to Pedro Neto. Fucking hell, are we still here? Are you understanding any of this? Right? So that bit, I wouldn't be looking for anything to do with Pedro Neto. I've had enough of the transfer window. I wouldn't be looking for anything to do with Wolves and Liverpool next week. I was, but now Pedro Neto's gone to Chelsea. I won't be. Gomez is a player that's been linked with us before, but there's nothing to suggest that Liverpool have inquired about him this summer. Let's just leave it there. What I will say is that just a minute. What I will say is that Wolves like a Portuguese player, don't they? They do like a Portuguese player. That's it. To be honest, if I was a first-time viewer to this channel, I wouldn't watch another video on here. But it's just very difficult sometimes to say things when you can't say everything. So, fuck knows what the purpose of the video was. When I'm not clear in my videos, I try to explain at the end. I'll say, look, the reason for the video is this. Okay, well, the reason for the video is that Liverpool did or were willing to make a move for Pedro Neto this summer. That I believe now, yes, but only on that £30 million offer. £30 million, £8 million in add-ons. If you were to include a Liverpool player that you value at £30 million, it's virtually a swap, isn't it? And you could see why that might not have appealed to Wolves. I am only a messenger. I don't care if you believe me or not. I've got my own opinions, and I think I've conveyed them. I would still continue to listen to any chatter to do with Wolves and Liverpool, to do with Nouri, because we know that Liverpool have inquired about him and have spoke to his agents this summer. So you have to listen for that, and also that the fact that Wolves are interested in one of our players. That's it. That's all I can say. I'm sorry if it's not a very exciting video. I'm sorry if it's confusing. But that's just the way it is. I can't do it about it. All right? So if you appreciate the video, please thumbs up the video. If you want to leave me a comment, if you leave a comment saying, that was terrible, I would not even disagree with you, but I'm just finding it difficult to try and explain everything. And if you want to buy me a beer or a coffee, I don't know why you would want to do that after this video, but you can hit the super thanks button and I'll give you a shout out tomorrow morning. We've got 3 more weeks of this. 3 more weeks of this, Shay. Right, I've got more that I need to speak to you about.